Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Let's knock this out.
Number 16 of the day here. Greetings, folks. Jason Amico here on the Jason Amico Show. We're in downtown Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, at the Hilton at the 24th Annual Millennium Music Conference with my good friend, Ms. Bridget Callahan.
Yes.
Thank you for coming up. And
well, thank you for asking me. I appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about what's going on. You've dumped some great knowledge onto our young minds here at the conference, and it's just great to see everybody collaboratively here.
Right.
And how long have you been involved with this?
I've been involved with this particular conference for about 4 years, coming as an attendee first.
Okay.
And then I've known Brian Cronin, who's one of the coordinators. For a long time we used to work together. I used to work with bands that would go down to the Dewey Beach Music Festival in Dewey Beach, Maryland. Delaware, sorry. My geography is a little off, it's late. So I developed a relationship with him, and then last year he approached me and asked me if I could put together a panel on how to book a college gig. So I had a gentleman who was working with helping independent college musicians find gigs with each other in this area. A gentleman who owned a promotion agency and was a member of NACA. A gentleman who had performed with NACA and done college gigs. So I approached them, asked them if they'd be willing to sit on the panel, and we were packed.
Wow.
You know, and that's kind of where I started. I started in student activities as a student activities coordinator. Saw a lot of really questionable routing issues going on with artists that I'd bring in, and then they'd be like, yeah, we have to be 8 hours away tomorrow by noon for a noontime show.
Yeah.
And just not understanding the logistics of things. So that's what got me started, and I actually started working with a hypnotist in the college scene. His name is Salish.
Interesting.
Yeah, he
Wow.
does these live hypnosis shows.
Yeah.
First time I met him, he was a little late, and
He just made you forget about it.
Well, and I was just like, no, I didn't forget. But I said, hey, here's the room, have a good time. And he said, aren't you going to check out the show? And I was like, yeah, I don't think so. I don't like these kinds of shows. I don't think they're worth their money, blah, 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 blah. And then he came back and asked me, he's like, it took me 90 seconds to realize that you weren't totally a witch and you were just putting it out there that I've got things to do. And he came back and he asked me to work with him. So that's how I started booking things in the college market.
Wow.
Was with a hypnotist. But music has always been my passion. I fell in love with David Bowie when I was 8 years old and just followed that.
Total legend.
Yeah,
Even today.
Sneak into my aunt's room while she's away at school and listen to her records and have my grandma chase me out before she gets home from school so grandma doesn't get in trouble. So while I'm not talented in the fact that writing and singing, you do not want to hear me sing, and things like that, I do have a very good ear, and I do know what sells well.
Right.
So
Right.
I bring it to the business side of things.
You're well versed in booking, obviously. What would you say? And I mean, you could get really stuck with this answer and even the way this question is presented. But there's a lot of folks out there who feel like they keep hitting that brick wall or that glass ceiling with booking agents and trying to get into that inner circle. What are your thoughts on that as far as navigating those?
So the one thing I learned early is never take anything personally.
Right.
Consistently reach out to people. You might need to make 20, 50, even 100 calls or emails to this particular person, but if it's someplace you really want to play and it will advance your career, just keep going, because you never know what their lifestyle is. You never know where they're at. They could totally have every intention of emailing you and calling you back, but then life happens, and then all of a sudden you've kind of gone to the background.
Right.
It's hard to do. I actually read a book last year. It's called The Super Ego Effect by Todd Herman.
Saw it at Barnes & Noble, almost bought it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
He works with, primarily, how he got his start was primarily with elite athletes. Mm-hmm. and talking to them about how they're a beast on the field, but they're so nice to talk to, you know, because like the personality, the persona they're putting forth on the field isn't what the persona is in real life.
Yeah.
It's all about creating your alter ego. So like, I'm Bridget, but when I'm hitting that phone, I'm friggin' Queen Bee,
Right,
you know, and
right.
it doesn't bother me. And if people don't return my call, okay, next. And if people say, well, we don't have enough money for that this year, okay, well, you know what? How about when would be a good time to approach you for next year? Because I know the value of the group I'm working with, the B Twins. I'm not going to undersell them
Right.
unless it's a market that they've never been in before and can be completely beneficial for them. So it's being purposeful in what you're doing.
Let's talk about the B Twins for a little bit. Where, you know, how did you get synced up with them, and what's going on for 2020 with the plans?
So I met them. I was working for an agency called Metropolis Management. They do a lot of college shows, hypnotists, sword swallowers, escape artists, musicians, all of that stuff.
Entertainment umbrella.
Yes, exactly. They like to pride themselves in being the one-stop shop for quality, reasonable entertainment on college campuses.
Right.
So I started with that. TC, their manager, met the owner, Salish, the hypnotist I was telling you about, and came to work for them. So I met TC at the NACA Mid-Atlantic Conference in 2017 because I was training him. And I have this weird, even TC calls me Rand McNally for the atlases, because on the East Coast I can tell you where things are in relation. Like it's my idiot savant
Interesting.
trait.
Interesting. Idiot savant. I don't know if I've ever heard those two words in the same sentence.
It's kind of one of those.
I like that. I like that. It's cool.
So, met him, and then every state has an organization that does conferences for their state fairs and their festivals. And entertainers will apply to showcase and then go to the conference and meet people and buyers and things like that. So the B Twins were going to be at the Pennsylvania one in Hershey. Salish didn't, at the time, Salish was like, I'm not really sure if I want to pay for the other agent that was working to fly in from Las Vegas when I live in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And I know Pennsylvania. So I went down. I literally was just like a body. But I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was talking to the buyers and everything. And then the twins could go off and do exactly what they do best, interact with the people. So they were riding the mechanical bull with the violin, and they were on the big balance ball, you know, that the circus clowns walk on, and on BMX, and just doing what they do, because they are so energetic and interactive that's exactly what they needed to be doing. And it's not that I didn't think they knew who I was. I just figured they're doing their job, I was doing mine. Easy peasy, no problem. Got a call from their manager saying, hey, what are you doing on March 19th? We're going to be out there. I was like, well, tell me where you're doing your show, and I'll go see you. He goes, no, we're driving out to talk to you. I was like, you're in Des Moines. That's 17 hours. You do realize we have Skype and cell phones and all of that stuff, you know? And they were like, no, we want to come out and talk to you. So they drove the 17 hours, and we met at the Smiling Chameleon in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, and they offered me a job.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So
here
we are. Yeah. Like last year they did 153 shows.
Wow.
From Vermont to Alaska. This year, they found this balance where they understand that in order to make money, sometimes you have to play those cover songs.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a lot of artists that I'd run into in the past were completely against playing cover songs, because that's not our art and that's not who we are. Like, but you still have rent to pay, you know.
But it also, I mean, it just enhances the show for, you know,
people who don't know who you are. All of a sudden,
come on.
Yeah.
It's like even at these conferences when I was playing a couple of times, or in the last 2 days, I'm not going to open up with an original.
Right.
In this setting, because it's like,
Right.
You gotta grab people a little bit.
Right. So they did a lot of that. They did very well with that. and they are a super high energy interactive. It's violin, ukulele, bass, and drums. You know, and
Motley Crue.
yes, and you
know.
have Walter and Wagner, who are super high energy, very appreciative, always grateful, easy to approach in the front stage. And now this year, we've stepped back. They're actually planning on leaving March 5th, and they've rented an Airbnb in Los Angeles because things happen very quickly for them when they're in LA. And they
Okay.
had a mentoring group sit down and talk with them and like, okay, what's your plan? What do you want to do with your original music? How do you want to... You need to be in LA for some of this stuff
Right.
because we can help you with some of this stuff if you're
Right.
here.
Right.
So they're doing that. I've introduced them to a producer, Diego Sanchez, down in Tampa, who's a friend of mine. I met him. He was the bass player and keyboardist for Morrison Poe.
Cool.
And they performed at Penn College when I worked there, and we just clicked, and I like his stuff, and I think he's a good fit. So this year they're going to be doing some shows, not as much as they did last year, but they're focusing more on their original product because they want to get more into the original festivals and do all of that stuff. So
It's exciting.
yeah, it's very exciting for them, and I'm excited for them because they're the type of people, when you meet them, you want to see them succeed.
Right. Right. We got to have them on the show at some point.
Oh,
you know.
definitely. They would love
We'll
it.
definitely have to connect with that.
Yes.
I ask everybody, you know, as we wrap up, the viewers and folks that have been watching the show for the last 6-9 months, whatever, they laugh because I always ask this question, but if you could go back in time to your 15-year-old self, knowing what you know now in the industry and life experience in general, what would you tell her?
It gets better. It does, because when you're 15, 16, 17 years old, you're so wrapped up in that little
Yeah.
microcosm that is your universe that when things happen that are bad,
It's
very-
detrimental.
right,
Yeah.
you know, it just, you forget that every day is a new opportunity.
Yes.
And when you go to bed at night, 10 things you're grateful for that happened that day. And when you wake up in the morning, 10 things you're grateful for waking up. Everything else falls into place.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
That's what I would tell her, because 15-year-old Bridget was a hot mess and was too reliant on the opinions of others to define who she was. And now, take me or leave me, that's okay. I'm going to go on and be happy, and I
Yeah.
hope you go on and be happy. I never go at anything with any ill will.
Yeah.
You know, if we don't jive, fine. You're not supposed to do that with everybody in the world. But if we do, well then, hey, come along for the ride.
It's a great perspective. It's
It takes
awesome.
a while to get there,
Yes.
and a lot of reflection.
Yes. And a lot of pain.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Social media, anything you want to plug right now?
Follow the B Twins. It's B, capital B, the number 2, WINS.com. They are killing it on Facebook and Instagram, and their Twitter's a little ish, but their Instagram, you see their personalities come out so much because they do silly little skits. And when Brazil's in the World Cup, then they're in the Brazilian cheerleader outfits, and just they will make you feel good throughout the day.
That's
if you're
cool.
having a bad day, check out the Instagram account, because you will walk away going, oh, yes, this is perfect. This is
Yeah.
what we need more of in the world.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much again for your time.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
And this is the Jason D'Amico Show, special Millennium Music Conference 24th Annual Edition at the Hilton. It is nighttime now. This is like the 16th episode that I've done, and I'm exhausted, but I'm so grateful that we were able to sit down and get
Oh,
this
yeah.
in.
Yeah. When I realized what was going on with my schedule, I was like, oh, no. Bridget, you flaked.
I got the message. It went to my Facebook Messenger, and it was like, it took me 5 minutes just
I'm
to
so
navigate my
sorry.
phone. I was like, what is going on here? Frickin' Facebook. Anyway, thanks.
Oh, thank you. You have a great time, and be safe going home.
Thank you. Peace out, guys.
Bye, guys.
See you on the next one.